What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we are speaking, today we are speaking the language of Geekmance, because I have to, because I don't know if you guys know this, but my best friend is a bit of an uninformed plebe. So now I have to go out into the world, and I have to collect a bunch of stuff so that way I can tell him all about it, because he's interested, but he's not interested enough to actually go and find these things himself. He has to rely on me to.
It's just that time commitment. You know, I've bought 2 games in the last year, and I have got a total of like 6 hours in both of them.
Well, you need to step up your game, sir, because we have things we need to do. Well, our lives just can't be all podcasting. We got to do something else. We got to do other things. So I'm saying we need to get together, and video games, I think, is our way to get together. We can virtual hug.
We don't get together enough. It's a good call.
See, now I'm making sense.
So E3 just happened.
Yes, it did.
You've been like radio silent, and every time I text you, tell me that you're like knee deep in all this news. And I didn't even know E3 was going on. So hit me with all of the goodness that's got your jollies in a bunch that you are excited for.
Okay, I should preface this with the fact that we're recording this on a Sunday. So there are still conferences that I have missed, but there is plenty to talk about. And honestly, the really big things, the things that I was kind of like looking forward to and excited about, have already happened. So anything else that kind of jumps up between now and then, I mean, it's just kind of like icing on the cake. It'd be a welcome surprise to see something new that I could go, oh, okay, like that looks interesting. I'll give that a shot. But Shawn, first off, and I'm super biased on this because I play the shit out of this game. I don't even want to tell you how many. There's a way to track how many hours you've put into this specific game.
Yeah,
it's called time. It's a time wasted. Shawn, the game's Destiny 2. The site it's called Time Wasted on Destiny. I've looked it up, and like it hits your account, and it'll tell you how many hours you've been logged into a game. Shawn, I don't even want to tell you. It's sick.
800 hours.
No, it's not 8. Oh, thank God. No, it's much lower than that.
250?
It's higher than that. It's 560, I think, is what I'm at. Last time I clocked in. But okay, bear in mind that's 560 hours over the course of almost 2 years.
You've played 23, almost a full month. You've played that game.
But that's, like I said, over the course of 2 years.
Yeah, so 24 months. You've played this. You've played 1/24 of your last 2 years has been this game.
Okay, so it's a lot.
That's okay. I mean, it's what you enjoy, though.
The other thing is it puts you in a percentage of like what percentage of players like play the same amount as you or more, and it was like 13%. I'm in like the 13th percentile.
So you're pretty high up, but you're not like in the 1%, which is probably the thousands of hours.
Probably.
Dude, it's so not to get off on a tirade too much, but a lot of people will be like, God, 500 hours, that's 23 days. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? And it's like, well, I mean, look at your phone. Like, how many hours did you spend on your phone, or what's your hobby?
Yeah, how many hours have you spent on Facebook? How many hours did you spend building wooden ships? And what do you have to show for it? Wooden ship and a bottle?
Yeah.
Guess what? Your kid breaks that shit.
Yeah.
And then what do you got?
And Richard, what do you have for playing Destiny for 23 days?
I've got a vault full of good, spicy, sweet loot. I've got a vault full of virtual guns and armor that make King Solomon blush.
And the best thing of all, you've got good memories from it.
That's right. I do. Because you go raiding with people and, like, you know, you sit there and BS with people. It's a fun time.
Yeah, it's fun.
So anyway, I was prefacing that with the fact. Okay, so on Thursday, the Thursday before E3, Bungie, which is the company that owns the Destiny IP, had a conference, had like their own individual event where they basically road mapped what Destiny was going to look like for the next year, about the next like year out, more so the next 3 to 6 months.
Because that game's been out, what, 3 years now? Or just 2?
It released in September of 2017.
Okay, so coming up on 2 years.
Almost, yeah, it'll be 2 years. So they're doing a lot of big stuff. And this is stuff I think you might find, and this is stuff I will make you find interesting, Shawn. So Bungie 2 years ago, well, prior to 2 years ago, was acquired by Activision. You know, the company that made a big name publisher.
Yeah.
And it gives you that impression like, oh God, like, you know, they've been swallowed up by a corporate entity. And honestly, I feel like that work showed, because when Destiny 2 came out at launch, it didn't have a whole lot to do. There were not microtransactions, but there was a store that you could buy, that you bought things from.
Had the EA Sports feel to it.
There were problems. There were some major issues, and the content was kind of drip fed, and it was going downhill. Last year, they released a big expansion called Forsaken, which put in a new story, added some new areas, and changed some of the mechanics in the game, and started to perk up. They did do an annual pass for downloadable content throughout the year. The last bit of that just recently released at the beginning of June. It's really good. Adds a whole new game mode. Kind of like a mini raid, I would say, that you would do. That it has matchmaking, so you can just go in there by yourself. You hook up with 6 random people, and off you go doing this activity.
Got a World of Warcrafty feel.
Very, very. So on Thursday, or on this Thursday before E3, they said we're going to be putting out. Everybody was saying they're going to do. Oh well, here comes Destiny 3.
Yeah, that's what you would
like.
expect.
That was okay, but one little thing I forgot to mention is that back in, I want to say March or April, Bungie bought out their contract with Activision.
Oh, okay, so they came back under their own umbrella.
They rebought the Destiny IP and brought it back under their own umbrella.
All right.
So Destiny's theirs now.
Okay.
No more corporate overlords, Shawn. No more man telling them what to do. So they said, we're not doing Destiny 3. Instead, we're coming out with a lot of big changes. And all these changes are taking place in September. So the first big thing is they're putting out I think they refer to it as an expand alone.
Okay.
Called Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, which adds a new story or a new quest line for you to follow. A new area. We're going to the moon, which
nice.
If there's any fans of Destiny, the moon was like huge in the first one, D1.
Is that where it crashed into Earth or something, or?
No, but there's a lot of monsters on Earth or on the moon. And now there's this big scarlet fortress that's protruding up from the, from the cracks in the moon. And you're supposed to go in there and fight. Who knows? But it's supposed to be, they're kind of going with a darker, kind of a scarier tone.
Okay.
With
Shadowkeep. Sci-fi
horror. A little. Yeah. Okay. So they're adding that Shadowkeep content. They're another big thing is they are now making the vanilla base game and all of the year one content that they put out. All the content they put out in year one is now will be free to play.
Okay, so if you've already got the game and everything, you get all the extra stuff for free. Which again is very World of Warcraft.
No, not if you have the game. I'm saying so you, Shawn, you've never played this before at all, right?
Mm-mm.
So you could go and you can, on September 17th, you can go and you can get this game called Destiny New Light. And what that does, Shawn, is you get this game 100% free. You play through the very first story mission from Destiny 1 that they have now remastered. Mm-hmm. So they remastered the very first mission just to kind of acclimate you to the world. For someone like you, like I said, never played it before. So you play that first mission, and then off you go. And now all the base game and all the year one DLC is yours to play.
Interesting. So yes, that's kind of, you see that with World of Warcraft, where I think it used to be you could get to level 10 for free, and then anything above that you had to pay. And then as they added more stuff, they said level 20. I don't know what it is now. It's probably like level 30. But yeah, it's kind of the little taste is free. The first taste is free.
So now but this is a year's worth of content. Actually, not just a year's worth of content, because with Forsaken, they added a player versus, I'd say, a PvP/E activity called Gambit, where you're fighting monsters, but there's also a player versus player element to it.
Okay.
That game mode is also added in with your Destiny New Light free to play free to play game.
So can you do all the raids and stuff with it too?
You can do all the raids from year one.
Interesting.
Which I think are 2. So I think there's 2.
Everything that you spent 500 plus hours on, I could do for free now.
Yes.
Well,
and honestly, I'm totally fine with that. That content's 2 years old. Number one. Number two, yeah, I paid money for it, but that's because I wanted to play it 2 years ago. And this is, I think this is a great way to draw people in.
Oh yeah, there's lots of games. I think like some of the Grand Theft Autos and stuff, like you can get kind of the base game pretty cheap, but it's always the extra content. And that one really stems more for people who like to play online too, right? Because like the base game itself, like the story mode is okay, but it's more of the, like do you have to have the PS4 or Xbox Live month by month payment thing to play?
Actually with that, I think you do. If you want to play, if you want to do raids and stuff like that. I'm sure all the story mission stuff is free for you, but any sort of activity that involves other people. So
yeah, any online stuff now you have to be part of what I know it's like PS4 or PS Live.
Not on PC, because you're not paying. You don't pay for you don't pay month to month on PC. So yeah, I'm sure you do if you have a PlayStation or an Xbox. So okay. So all that, so like I said, all that year one content, all that, the base game and all that year one content is completely free. Okay. So then you, Shawn, are saying, well, what if I want to play like the year two stuff? Because year two had, a decent story that looked kind of cool. It looks like it has a decent story. Oh, it looks like I can, there's more raids, a couple more raids available. I think there's 3 more available. Like all that looks awesome. Well, guess what, Shawn? Forsaken, which is the year 2 big content drop, and all the year 2 content is $40.
Okay. What was a sticker price on it before?
Like 70. If you bought I think it was like 70, and that's if you bought, because like I said, in year 2 they did an annual pass thing.
Oh, so you're paying month to month.
No, I paid for annual pass for all the DLC. So it was like $30. So it's 40 for the Forsaken stuff, for the Forsaken content, and then 30 for the annual pass, which gave me all the year 2 DLC.
Okay, but still 2 years worth of games for $40 isn't bad.
Right. Yeah. So we're at 2 years worth of games for $40. So now it's on Shadowkeep, which is this new thing that's going to release in September. Price point on that is $35.
Well, that's not bad at all.
So for $35, you get the Shadowkeep content. Now, I should make it a point. You don't need any of the other stuff to play Shadowkeep. Like if you don't want any of the year 2, if you don't want to pay $40 for year 2, you don't have to.
Huh, that's interesting.
You don't need it.
That seems challenging because usually like what sounds like year 2 stuff, because you level up in this game, right?
You do. There's a character level and then there's a power level.
Gotcha. It seems like
so
that middle ground, you'd be missing some leveling that would happen in there.
If you bought Shadowkeep, you're gonna start at power level, I think 750, which is from what they're saying it's going to be 750, which is right now that's what the current cap is. So when the new DLC drops, you'll start at where everybody else finished.
That makes sense. So that way you kind of skip the fluff if you want. So like for me, if you
don't want to play the other story stuff, if you don't want to mess with it, you don't have to.
Yeah, and I don't have to level grind for 500 hours to get to where everybody
exactly. So you can jump in and then I tell you, oh, Shawn, you get this game, we can play together. Well, I mean, not right away. First, you got to do this thing, and then you got to grind this thing for 40 hours, and then after about like 40 or 50 hours, then we can play together, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, be like, well, I don't want to fucking be by myself for 40 hours.
I mean, kids between the age of 3 and 4 really don't do anything you need to see anyway. So just, put them in a room, bouncy walls, and just play.
Right. I'm saying, Shawn, if you get the Shadowkeep, you can go from 0 to playing with me in 15 minutes.
Take a little bit to figure out the keys and stuff, but like you said, they're kind of changing that anyway, potentially.
They're changing the mechanics when it comes to armor and stuff like that, which is all super technical and not really. I doubt it's anything anybody cares about unless people play it, and the people that play it are like, well, now I have to go look at this, which is fine. So there's the new light thing. So let's say, Shawn, you pick up this game Shadowkeep for $35. So you're going to play this first mission, which will kind of get you acclimated to controls and the world in general. And then you go, okay. And then after that, then you're jumping in with me. And then I'm like, okay, we're going to go do this stuff. Then you go, okay. And then we're going to go do stuff.
And is that game cross-platform? So like if I'm playing on my PlayStation, can I play with you on the PC?
That's the other huge announcement. It is not cross play, but they are going to, in September, they are bringing cross save.
Oh, okay. So what you have on your computer, you can save on a PlayStation.
Basically, let's say you have a PS4, an Xbox, and a PC. You basically, what you do is you pick one account, and that account is your main account. So then if you jump on something else, it's going to migrate your save from your main account. So I could be on my PC. Yes, that's why I'm saying it's cross save, and it's not. You would have to purchase another copy.
But if you want to play, and I'm not saying like sharing, but like if you've got it on your PC, you're like, I want to play this on my Xbox, you'd have to buy it for your Xbox too, right? Okay. Which makes sense. That kind of seems kind of like crappy, but I get it.
I mean, not a lot of people really are huge on, like, I thought about it, but I doubt I'm going to do it. Like, I doubt I'll buy 2 copies of the game, like one for my PS4 and one for my PC. Maybe because I don't really have a lot of friends that I played with on PS4. Actually, a lot of the people I played with the original Destiny on PS4, they migrated over to PC once D2 came out. So that was their other big thing. They're saying, hey, we're bringing up cross save. So if you want to, you can play, you can migrate your account wherever you want and play it on all platforms.
At least that's something.
So you
do want to share, but
right. So the last big thing is, like I said, Bungie had Destiny under Activision, and Activision also owns Blizzard. So on PC, it's under Battle.net.
Okay.
With Shadowkeep is now going to be on Steam.
Oh, nice.
So if you want to buy the game, you buy it on Steam.
That's probably a big win for Steam, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of is, considering that right now they have there's the Epic Game Launcher, which is kind of nipping at their heels a little bit. So picking that up is probably a coup for them. So right now I play, on PC, I play on Battle.net, and so all that stuff all my stuff will migrate over to Steam once I start playing Shadowkeep.
Nice. So that's that.
So bunch of free to play stuff, cross save, going to Steam, all good shit.
Yeah, it seems like a very good user player friendly stuff too. It's not like, yeah, we know you spent $160 for 2 years worth, but guess what? Now for $90 you can continue the Destiny.
Yeah,
with just a few minor microtransactions.
Right. So yeah, so what they're doing now is basically so Shadowkeep's $35, and then that will go for one season, which I'm guessing is about 3 months.
Okay.
And then they'll put out more content in 3 months. And basically they said from this point forward, we're not going to be doing all the content will be a la carte. So let's say season 9 stuff you don't like, but you like season 10. Well, you can just buy season 10 and not have to worry about 9.
Okay.
You can the content will be kind of given out, and you can just pick what you want and add it to your game.
It's interesting. It seems like they're really taking kind of a multiple different approaches. Like they've got the World of Warcraft kind of mentality, it seems like. 'Cause it sounds like that's what this is really going towards, is strictly online gameplay where you do these different
Well, it is. It's an MMO.
But then also it's kind of like with the season thing, that's very much kind of like the Paizo Adventure Path stuff. They come out with a new, one of 6. They come out with one each month, so you get 6 months worth. But you might be like, well, this Adventure Path seems stupid. I'm going to skip this. I'm not buying it.
Yeah,
kind of sounds very similar kind of mentalities on the approaches to selling their games.
So the content's all a la carte. You pick what you want and buy what you want, and it's all fairly reasonably priced.
Yeah, and so if season 8 comes out, you're like, well, I'm kind of strapped for cash. I'm not going to pick this up. But season 9, you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. And you can pick that up and not be any
that
worse
looks
for
super
wear.
cool. I want that.
Yeah, I like that. And then probably after a few months, each season will probably go down in price, so you can pick it up later if you really, really wanted to.
Yeah, possibly. So that. Trying to think if there's anything I missed. Cross save, Steam. Oh, the other big thing, which is kind of a dig on more PlayStation, I would say, than anybody else. They've emphatically said they will no longer be doing exclusive content or gear with anybody.
Why is that?
So when you go to because with Sony, Sony has a gun that you can only get if you own a PlayStation 4 copy of the game.
So
they're saying they're done with that.
Though? Like Sony isn't.
They do it for all. No, well, yeah, no, you're right. But I would say Sony's a bit more stickler when it comes to exclusives, like exclusive content, exclusive maps, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they emphatically said we're done with exclusives.
Well,
everybody's getting the same thing.
Yeah, it makes sense once they're under their own umbrella too, and I'm sure that makes the development of it so much easier too. Instead of trying to
I'm sure.
do specifics for a console, you can just build it and then port it.
I'm sure. So that hit all. That's all the major points. Bunch of stuff going on. So all that happened in everybody. It's been very well received among the community.
Yeah. I don't see why it wouldn't be. There's no news there that makes you like, great.
And finally,
Skyrim
Shawn
again?
will be able to.
Sweet.
Yeah, Shawn will get to play with me.
Yeah, of course.
You can't turn down free.
No, yeah.
Don't look.
I got it.
God,
I got it in
bastard.
I got it in my Steam account right now. But even then, you have to play on PlayStation 4. I don't have a Windows machine.
They have Steam for Mac.
Mm.
You can get Steam on your Mac, on your fucking Mac.
Yeah. We'll see.
You can buy the game for your Mac.
Okay. We'll see what happens. I'll do my best.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. All right. So enough about that. I feel like I've spent too much time talking about one specific thing because there's a bunch of other stuff to go through. So Shawn, you know what? I don't want to bury the lead. The next huge thing I was excited about, which got, I would say, has been the biggest reveal and probably will be for the whole expo, Cyberpunk 2077. Now I did watch the whole thing live, and as soon as I watched it, I texted you and I said, "Have you seen anything on Cyberpunk yet?" And you said no, and I said, "Good, don't until we talk."
Yeah, I know. Like a year ago, you shared like the 45 or hour and a half long.
Yeah, it was
real
like 48.
And I was super invested in it. It seemed like because it reminded me like futuristic Grand Theft Auto, and like Grand Theft
scratches
Auto,
all your itches.
Yeah, like that's the kind of thing I dig. Like you pick it up, you can run around, shoot stuff, steal stuff, and then put it down. And so you told me, don't watch this. And right before we kicked this on, you showed it to me. And
yeah,
I'm not a big cinematic trailer fan for video games because that's burned me a few times. You know, you see like, oh my gosh, it looks pretty, it looks cool. And then you get it and you're like, oh, this sucks. Like this doesn't do anything like they showed. I think they actually had to start doing like not actual gameplay at the bottom of the trailer and stuff too, because people were getting pissed about it.
Yeah, sometimes they do that, yeah.
But yeah, you showed me this trailer. It looked cool, but the end reveal, which I'll let you tell everybody what it is, that had me like...
So the end reveal, so the whole thing, it like I said, it's a big cinematic. It kind of, goes through some story stuff. But basically it winds up with you getting shot, and then you wake up in a junkyard. And so now you've woken up in this junkyard, and now obviously you're going to be on a mission for revenge, and somebody shows up to, I guess, help you in your quest for vengeance. And that person, Shawn, and what made the lid blow off the show floor during the conference, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. And I asked you, like, I had no idea this was happening. And you told me what?
I told you I had no idea this was happening either.
Yeah. Nobody knew this was happening.
No, nobody did.
Because in the gameplay footage, like, I don't even remember it feeling like it was a revenge thing. It was just very much like you're going around shooting people on a mission. And I don't think
you're on
clear what the mission was.
In the gameplay, you're on some sort of you're on a like a story mission basically, and then that's it. Just to kind of showcase the gameplay, which is great. I mean, it looked fucking great, and that was a year ago.
Yeah, and that was like a hard R looking game too, because it had boobies in it and lots of dead people.
Yes, and now this one has this official cinematic trailer has no boobies, but there's quite a bit of language and a little bit of some blood and gore too.
Yeah, a little bit of blood and gore, but I mean, for the most part, it's Keanu Reeves with those long locks and that beard.
Yeah. There's your sexual content. There's your strong sexual content. Made me feel funny in my no place.
So what was there much else revealed besides the release date on that?
No, that was pretty much it. They put out the cinematic trailer, number 1, and at the last 10 seconds you're like, holy shit, that's fucking Keanu Reeves. Like you heard the voice and you're kind of like, that dude sounds like, holy shit, that's Keanu Reeves. Like there's no mistake in that fucking bright shining face. So that shows up. Then, after the trailer's done playing, the actual Keanu Reeves shows up on stage to give the release date. And if anybody's curious, the release date for Cyberpunk 2077 is April 15th.
Yep, 2020, next year. So what, we're 10 months away? So this is one thing I'm always kind of leery about. Well, there's a couple things. So one, are you going to buy it and get it release day?
I will probably buy it release day, yes.
So are you going to pre-order it, you think?
I've never pre-ordered a game. I always wait until I always buy it day of. If it's something I'm super, super hyped for, doesn't matter. I will never pre-order. I always buy day of.
With this one, it seems like they got a lot of package options. So you pre-order, I'm assuming, and you get like different kinds of option choices.
I'm sure they have like a collector's edition, and
does that pique your interest at all, or still you're just going to buy the?
No, I've never really. I mean, unless I see something super interesting, unless there's something that like super piques my interest, I'm not really that. I don't really do that. I don't own. The last time I think I bought a collector's edition of anything, I bought the collector's edition of the Lord of the Rings movies, the extended cut, because they came with these really cool fucking. The first one came with these really cool bookends, and it was the two statues with their hands out.
Oh yeah.
They looked so good. I'm
trying to think. I mean, I've pre-ordered games before, like from GameStop, but that was like where you had to put like $5 down, and it was always like baseball games and stuff like that.
I think one of the reasons that I don't pre-order is kind of number one, like there is a chance that I might see, like some footage or something like that that's going to turn me off of the whole thing. Like I need that escape hatch, number one. Number two is that I feel like a lot of studios kind of put too much faith in pre-orders.
That's
they do 3/4 of a game.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, we'll get pre-orders, and the pre-orders will help us, will give us the budget to finish.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely like a last like 5 or 6 year thing. Whenever like we're talking like PS3s when I was doing this, the game was all you really had. Like there wasn't much for updates back then.
Yeah.
So the game you had was the game you had. But now it's exactly like you said, like they're hoping to fund it with it. And honestly, if you pre-order it and it comes out and it sucks, like, well, we're going to finish the other third of this, but the sales on it suck balls. You don't even see any of that, and you just wasted all your money.
Yeah. Perfect example of that. In February, there was a game that EA put out called Anthem, and it launched, and it was not good.
That's the Iron Man one, right?
You're flying around in suits and shooting things.
It sounds cool. Sounds like a really cool idea.
It was there in terms of content. It was so anemic. There's hardly anything there. Like you finish in probably 8 to 10 hours, and then you just kind of bop around.
And they haven't added anything to that yet, have they?
Well, they've promised stuff, and they half deliver on it, and it's a sinking ship.
Well, that's what I like about
they've pretty much written off at this point. And I'm saying, like, some people, pre-ordered a collector's edition for $120.
Yeah.
And now you've got now it almost like pisses you off when you look at it.
Yeah. That's kind of like a good, so like you said, 8 to 12 hours. So what? That's an expensive $10 an hour experience.
Yeah.
That's always how I break my stuff down. Like you said, like you spent.
No, I do that too.
Like how much have you spent on Destiny altogether?
I said, what did I say, like $560?
Yeah.
Oh, how much have I spent altogether? See. I'd say about, between both years, about 120.
Yeah, so roughly now you've got 20 cents an hour in.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, what can you do for 20 cents in an hour that's entertaining? Not much.
Mm-hmm. True that.
But yeah, but what I like about this game too is, like you said, like a year ago, we saw what I mean. If they released that game, how many people would be ecstatic about that? But they still waited a full year. Actually, it's going to be like 2 years at that point.
It's going to be 2 years, yeah, because this isn't out until April of 2020.
Which I'm curious.
A lot of people suspected that they were thinking that this was going to be out in November.
Yeah, I remember you said
in
that.
fact, I think there were some gaming sites and blogs that said, "Oh, well, the leaked release date's going to be November."
Yeah, and
now they're saying April.
And I asked, I think on GameStops and stuff, they had it as like December 31st, which to me is like December 31st of 19, which was like last year. And to me, whenever you see that, that's like they don't know when it's going to be. There's no.
It's a placeholder. That's why they say December 31st. It's just a placeholder until they get an actual date.
But yeah, you got a whole year. Like I said, if they would have released that and be like, "Hey, we're trying to kickstart this," they probably could have got like 300,000, probably millions of dollars. Because that's a game. It's like, hey,
I'm sure they made millions just from people pre-ordering it now.
Is it available for pre-order?
It's available for pre-order now.
Okay. Well, I know. So when Amazon pre-orders those, does that money actually go to them? Or do they have to wait to release it? Does Amazon hold that money?
I'm guessing it goes to them because I don't think Amazon would have a leg to stand on to hold that money. Like they're not Amazon isn't promising you the game. The studio
but they
is.
can. I'd be curious about that because that's just like when you pre-ordered at GameStop, you gave them your $5 or $10. They held that money. They didn't send that to the video game companies. So I would bet. I wonder if they even see any of that money.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just curious about because if you pre-order it from the company, obviously they're getting the money. Like if you pre-order it from if it's a Sony game and you get it from the Sony shop, yeah, that's them. But like you pre-order this on Amazon, I doubt Amazon's like, oh hey, here's your because now if Amazon does that, you have to get their money from them, refunded to Amazon, then Amazon has to refund the customer. Whereas in this case, they just hold the money, and if it falls through and doesn't happen, they only have to refund the customer, and they've probably made interest on that money.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure.
Question. I've never thought about it until just now, but
I'm trying. I mean, there isn't really much more to say other than holy shit, Cyberpunk. There's a release date, and now apparently Keanu you're gonna go on a revenge mission, Shawn. You're gonna go on a revenge mission with John Wick.
Yeah, this is essentially what would happen if the dog in John Wick died but came back to life as a robotic dog. He's like, "Let's go, Pooch."
Yeah, like, oh my God, like, what if you're like, well, why are you helping me? He's like, well, they killed my dog. And then you're like, holy fuck. Are you kidding me?
John Wick 2020.
John Wick 2077.
They killed my other fucking dog. No, but this is a game I'm probably going to get. Because again, it checks a lot of the boxes that get me excited.
Yeah.
Is it at all going to be online, or is it just strictly single player game?
It's, as far as I know, it's single player RPG. Okay. So I mean, because it's CD Projekt Red. This is the same company that made the Witcher series.
Okay.
So I mean, I think considering that they made the Witcher series, it lends credibility to the fact that you're going to get this hugely immersive, deep customization RPG.
Yeah. Which, I think try to figure out what's cut me out of gaming. And it's that whole like Grand Theft Auto's done it. And so like you were talking about Destiny's done that where everything funnels to the online, MMO type thing. Like Grand Theft Auto, why don't we have a Grand Theft Auto 6? Because they're still making a ton of money on that online game. So
why don't we have a new Elder Scrolls game? It's because they're making a ton of money on fucking Elder Scrolls Online. To which I say to anybody, if there's anybody out there that plays Elder Scrolls Online, stop. Stop doing it. Don't play it anymore. I want a new Elder Scrolls game, and I can't get one until your game flops. So stop playing it.
Wasn't it last year they announced that they were doing one?
They announced they're making one, and Bethesda had their conference, and all they said was, we're making it.
There's no title or anything, right? It's just Elder Scrolls.
No title.
6?
No title.
5?
Nothing.
What
6. This will be 6. No title. Nothing. They're just like,
Yeah.
hey, you know that thing? We're doing it. Promise.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? This year, Fallout 4 remastered. Everybody, there you go.
Oh my God. And yeah, that was their other thing is they announced that dumpster fire of a game that was Fallout 76.
Oh yeah.
You know what they added? Oh, get this. You know what they added? They added a fucking battle royale mode.
Oh, nice. Well, yeah, obviously that's all hot right now.
Oh,
is it free?
God.
Is it free to play yet?
No, it is not. I think
surprising.
well, as of I think the week after the conference, it's free. They said they're gonna do like a free trial week. So if you wanna jump in the game, once E3's done, then off you go. But that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you think about, and this is I guess probably old man Shawn talking, but like kids these days, what they want like MMO. And they want battle royales. That's all they want. That's all they play. Which I've tried a couple battle royale things. Like I think I did.
I hate them.
Fortnite maybe on my phone, which was, well, actually no. What I did on Fortnite on my phone is I found a guy and I started shooting him, and he wouldn't fucking die. And I was like, well, maybe I'm not powerful enough. And apparently he was on my team. Like he runs up to me, is dancing. I'm shooting him in the face. And
well, God,
happening.
you are an old man.
Yeah, I know, right? Like what the fuck's happening? And like I think it was like 3 or 4 days later, I like wake up and I'm like, in a cold sweat. I'm like, oh God, he was on my team.
So let's see. Trying to think if there what other major. Oh, the other big thing, the other thing that got me super excited because this harkens back to my younger years, my years of gaming. Like when I was like 14, Shawn, they announced, and you might actually like this too. They announced Baldur's Gate 3.
So you told me about that. I've never played any of those games.
You've never played any of them. I know. So for those that haven't, Baldur's Gate was I think it's referred to as a CRPG. Which basically means it's top down.
Oh yeah,
and you control each individual guy and they can, you make choices, you have dialogues with stuff. But the whole system in Baldur's Gate, the whole thing was built on the back of Dungeons and Dragons. This was I would say that this was probably the first Dungeons and Dragons game that people were playing and saying, holy shit, this feels like Dungeons and Dragons. This feels like I'm actually playing Dungeons and Dragons. You had you rolled stats for your character. If you could actually I can't remember if you could do it with Baldur's Gate 1, but I know you could with Baldur's Gate 2. You could actually take you could actually take the characters that you create in Baldur's Gate and print out an actual character sheet.
Yeah, so if you got your Saturday game day and you want to play your character from Baldur's Gate, you could print that out and
you could just print it out.
That's cool. I like
and
that.
It had all your stats and I think all your equipment on there.
So it's Baldur's Gate 3, so they're in 5th edition D&D. Is it going to be tied to those rules or are they separate from that?
From what I've heard, and so this game is being done by Larian Studios, which is they had a couple games that were very, very, very much in the vein of Baldur's Gate called Divinity Original Sin.
Okay.
They had 2 games, Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. Story-wise, those games were fantastic. They were all fully voice acted too. So when you talk to people, every time you talk to somebody, everybody was fully voice acted. Actually, in Divinity Original Sin 2, they were. I can't remember if they were in 1. But those were huge games with a bunch of story, a lot of side quests and side missions you would go on. Like that game would suck you in for hours. It didn't run, obviously, on D&D, on a D&D rule set. It ran on, they kind of had a custom rule set that they used when it came to like casting spells or rolling your stats and stuff like that. for Baldur's Gate 3, they're calling it 5th edition adjacent.
Okay.
So it sounds like they're using 5th edition, but maybe tweaking a couple things.
Okay.
To get it to translate into a game.
That makes sense.
So that has me a little kind of, I don't know.
Is it? Yeah.
Well, because they did Pathfinder. There's a Pathfinder game.
Yeah,
called Pathfinder Kingmaker,
which you said you really
and that
liked.
pulls. I really liked it, and that pulls right from the Pathfinder rule set.
Is it I'm guessing it's the first edition Pathfinder?
Yes. I will say that game, when it started, it was very, very clunky, but they've made huge strides and fixed a bunch of stuff. It was definitely not that great when it first launched, but it's really, really good now.
That's the Pathfinder one, right?
That's the Pathfinder one, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen and heard good things about it.
Yeah, so with Baldur's Gate 3, all we have is a cinematic trailer, which looks fucking rad. I know you're not huge on cinematic trailers, but this one, like, I was like, oh my, like the first time I watched it, I was like, ugh. Like, I love watching transformation scenes, especially in like horror movies. Best one, hands down, it's still number one. American Werewolf in London, the original American Werewolf in London, where he turns into the werewolf and like you see his face stretch and you see his finger stretch. Like, it looks fucking rad, and it's in hard light. Like, it's not, there's a lot of shadow and stuff, so you're seeing it. This I was watching this and I was like, oh, because like at one point he like throws up and he's got teeth in his hand.
Yeah. I saw that and was like, ugh.
Yeah.
No, I like...
All his hair falls out.
It looked cool, but my whole thing with cinematic trailers is, like, it doesn't tell you what the game's about. Like, Cyberpunk was a cinematic trailer, but you get an idea of, okay, this is what the game's about. Plus, we've got game footage. So
yeah, you had game footage from a year ago.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like, okay, I see what this kind of setup is, and this is kind of laying out, okay, this is going to be the main storyline. But like you said, Baldur's Gate 3, it's just looks like a city that's been overrun, and he turns into a monster. Well,
okay, so there was I wouldn't say a press conference, but there was kind of an interview thing I saw with one of the game's directors and one of the creative guys from Wizards of the Coast, and they were talking about it. Obviously, the reason they don't have any gameplay footage or anything is because they haven't even set a release date for this yet.
I gotcha.
So I'm sure they're probably still like in the middle. I mean, they're still probably like in the fuck of it when it comes to building, when it comes to making it.
Yeah. God, it's so interesting that they're announcing these games. It seems a lot like far out than what they used to. Because it used to feel like whenever you went to these E3s, it was like, here's this, Elder Scrolls.
Oh, look at this. It's out in November. Oh, look at this. It's out in November. Oh, look at this. It's out in November.
Yeah. And now it's like, hey, look at this. And we're working on it. Year later. Hey, that thing. We're still working on it.
Yeah. Hey, Elder Scrolls 6. So, I mean, that's still going on. Don't be bitter.
Have you guys tried Fallout 76? There's a free week of it. If you're interested, please check it out. I have kids to feed.
So there's no announcement date for Baldur's Gate 3. But honestly, Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2 were fucking amazing when it came to story and story depth, and you could tell that those were guys that played Baldur's Gate when they were kids and fucking loved it.
Yeah.
And I feel like cool, now that they have the reins on it, they're gonna treat it with care.
I like that.
One thing that you might find interesting, Shawn, is the guy from Wizards of the Coast said that before they release the game, they're actually going to release an adventure campaign that leads up to the events of the game.
Oh, that's cool. I like that time.
So there's Yeah, so they're doing a campaign that'll take you from I think first to like 13th level, and that will lead you that at the end of that campaign, timeline wise, will start just before the events of the actual game.
That's cool. Well, I feel like, with everybody kind of looking for Elder Scrolls to come out, that might wet a lot of whistles.
Yeah,
that's a very similar kind of thing. So,
well, because I think that's what maybe it's just you and me, but I feel like that's kind of like what people like. People like, jumping into something and losing themselves for, 200 hours.
Yeah.
And feeling like they've gotten their money's worth when it came to something that they've paid $60 for.
Yeah. Well, and it's a thing you get to play by yourself, which, especially as you get older, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go play online Grand Theft Auto 5. And you jump on.
I don't have any friends.
Well, no, not that, but just like you jump in, you're like, oh, I'm going to go here and dead. You're like, oh, I'm going to go here, dead. Because there's like somebody that's been playing for 700 hours and has all the cool stuff. Because
Noob Master 69 stabbed you in the face.
Yeah, no joke, right? Like, wait, I'm Noob Master, technically, because I've only played
I'm
6
the
minutes.
noob.
But I like those games because, like you said, you can pick it up, you can play it. Life gets in the way for the rest of the week, but you can pick it up a week later and you're none behind what everybody else is.
They are also the other thing I found somewhat interesting is they're announcing this for consoles too.
Oh, nice. All of them?
All of them, yeah. And Google Stadia. Woo!
I mean, if this comes out, well, it's hard to tell what'll come out. I mean, Cyberpunk has got a release date, so that'll probably be the game I get, but the only other interesting thing you mentioned.
Stadium near you.
The only other
oh my
thing,
God, she listens.
The only other thing you mentioned is that Microsoft has announced their new console.
They did.
All it was an announcement, or do you have more details on that?
They announced it. They kind of talked super vaguely in terms of hardware specs on it. But they did put a release date on it, and they were saying holiday of 2020. So I'm guessing probably somewhere from September to early November of 2020. In terms of, like hardware spec wise, they're saying this is, amazing. They're saying this is going to be, they're using a solid state drive. And apparently the solid state drive is supposed to work as virtual RAM. And I'm sure this is all super technical talk that not a lot of people get. But the point is they're saying it's all supposed to be streamlined to be super fast. They're saying this should boost performance by 40 times over the current generation. But that's according to Microsoft. So who actually knows? But they did announce that Halo Infinite will be a launch title.
Okay.
So Halo Infinite will be a launch title you can play on Xbox Project Scarlet.
So there's no, and I'm guessing that's not what they're going to call it, right?
No, probably not. And I'm sure this time next year, you're going to have a name for it. You're going to have an actual date for it. You're going to know everything about it. You're going to know the price point of it. And you're going to know all the stuff that's going to release with it.
Does that affect you anymore? I mean, because it seems like you're more in the PC realm. If they come out with a new PlayStation, are you going to get it, or you?
Probably not, honestly.
And I think, honestly, like with my PS4, I feel like, again, I'm not playing much, so that's one thing, but I feel like this generation of consoles has been kind of lackluster.
I mean, when I bought my PlayStation 4, but at the time I didn't have a PC. So I just, I was like, okay, let's, I guess I'll do this. And then and honestly, since I've gotten my PC, since I built it, I haven't touched it in probably well over a year.
Yeah. Like I said, I bought hockey about 3 months ago. I played like 6 games. And I just don't have the time to dedicate to it. I mean, I could if I wanted to, but there's other things on my list right now that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
and you're taking up time on the TV. Then your son's like, I want to watch Peppa Pig, and you're like, but I want to play Madden.
Yeah,
and then you're
no
both
joke,
like,
right?
Mom.
Yeah, and then he goes up and pushes the power button because he figured that out. Because mine sits inside the cabinet, so I got to keep the door open. He's like, "Yeah, how is that winning streak going now, Dad?" I'm like, oh.
And then you punch him in the face, and then yeah.
But he's smart. He doesn't do it like in the first or second quarter. He waits until about mid-third quarter, so you're too far in to restart it. Telling you what, Richard, this kid's smart. He knows his stuff.
And then you hit him, and then your wife's like, I told you not to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm sorry. And then you run out of the house, and you cry, and then she's got to coax you back in.
Yeah, and then you come back in, there's a guy named Steve sleeping in my bed, and my son's calling him Dad. It's a tale that's been told 1,000 times, Richard.
And then he's like, PlayStation, that's for babies. And then you're like, shut up, you're a baby. So yeah, I mean, not a lot of news on Project Scarlet. Just that, hey, we're gonna have this, and it's gonna be so fast, it's gonna blow the hair off of your balls.
Yeah,
and you can play it in 18 months,
maybe.
Yeah, right.
Well, do you have any other news that you have from E3 this year?
I got one more big game that a lot of people were talking about, but honestly, for me, it was not, I wouldn't say disappointment, but I was watching this and I was kind of like, okay. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay. So
this is going to be a game set timeline wise after episode after episode 3, so right after Order 66, and you are I can't remember your name. You are Cal Kestis, former Padawan and survivor of Order 66, slicing your way through the Imperials. They did have gameplay footage for this. It's set on the gameplay was set on Kashyyyk, and basically it's you with a lightsaber and the Force, and you're slashing Imperial troops and cutting people up. In the game, they have you drive an AT-AT. That looked kind of cool.
That's always fun.
You have a little droid buddy that follows you around because, of course, you do. In the game, there was an appearance by Saw Gerrera, who was, you remember from Rogue One, the old guy had the suit or had the so he's in there. The one thing that I thought was, well, not really, just because I like the show. Shawn, I don't know how often have you seen a lot of Shameless?
A little bit.
What about Gotham? Did you watch a lot of Gotham?
Same, a little bit.
The kid from Shameless and Gotham, the red-haired kid.
Okay. That
played the Joker in Gotham.
Oh, yeah. I like
okay.
him.
So that is who the I don't know if he does the voice, but I think he does the voice, and that's who the main character is modeled after.
Oh, cool. So this is just a single player, non-online type of game.
Yeah, single player. I will say in terms of the lightsaber combat looks cool.
Yeah.
Like it looks, as far as that goes, like it looks interesting.
I feel like that's something.
Honestly, but the gameplay, it just, I don't know. Like after watching it, I was like, okay, like that looks good, but it doesn't look like something I'm gonna, obsess over for hours and hours and hours. Yeah. It looks like something I'm gonna play through once and then be okay.
Yeah, I get that. I feel like Star Wars is a game that they need to like nail at some point. I remember there was one of the first Battlefront ones I played for a couple hours and really liked it. But I know that was a game that some of the newer ones were kind of
Oh, the newer ones. Well, see, again, we're talking about evil corporations and whatnot. EA owns the Star Wars license. And so with Battlefront, that's when they tried to put in, you can pay $10 and buy this loot box that gets you all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you can pay $100 and buy a bunch of loot boxes.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" way.
Yeah.
Loot boxes.
Except some kid with a credit card.
Yeah.
$100. That's a steal.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that would pique your interest. There's apparently a Blair Witch game.
Yeah, that's a game I don't want to play in the dark.
No. It looked kind of creepy. Not gonna lie. I watched it. I watched the trailer for it. It looked kind of creepy. Death Stranding was really the only big thing that Sony kind of put out, and this is something they announced like the day before. It's Hideo Kojima who did the Metal Gear series. It looks okay. It looks interesting. Hideo Kojima is very avant-garde when it comes to the way he creates and directs a game. So you watch the trailer and it looks like kind of a game/art piece.
Okay.
And I don't mean that in a terrible way. It's just it's different. It's different than a normal game kind of trailer you see. They did put a release date on that. They're saying November 8th, 2019. And you get to play as Norman Reedus. He's the main character.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Curious how that's going to go.
I am too. I don't think there was anything else that huge. Apparently there's supposed to be an Avengers project, but I think we're going to find out more about that later. That one kind of piqued my interest. Oh, Doom, new Doom.
Are people asking?
Looks kind of cool. Yeah. New Doom looks really good. Looks pretty. Yeah, that's been about it so far.
Well, like other things you talked about, Baldur's Gate might pique my interest, but definitely Cyberpunk. I think I'm going to go in on those two.
Oh, and also...
Oh, and Destiny. Yeah, I'm going to get that right
That's
away.
right. That's right. God damn it.
All right, Richard. Well, as we're tidying up E3 news, kind of a nerdy, geeky episode. We haven't done one in a bit. What's some of your Richard's closing thoughts?
I know people kind of get on, fucking video games. You could do so many other things with your time. Like, seriously, like, fuck you guys.
I don't think you really do that much anymore, though. Yeah,
I know you don't. You don't, especially once people started streaming, playing a video game, and then other people started giving those people money. I think that argument kind of died out. It's like, oh, you're wasting your time on video games, and then someone's like, well, this person plays them, and he makes $3 million a year.
Yeah. Well, how much do you make? Not $3 million a year, but a little less.
Slightly. I don't think it's rude to talk about how much money people make. So I guess that I'll say this, that I embrace that, and I dive headfirst into this news, and I do it for you, Shawn.
I appreciate it because
I see it. Honestly, I feel it's a way for us to be closer together, and it's a way for me to people that I feel like a lot of people are slightly interested in this kind of thing, but they don't, not enough to go and find this information for themselves. So that is why I'm here. I'm trying to bring you this stuff so you don't have to go look for it. And also, games are a way for people to get together.
Yeah, it's just like any of those other hobbies. Like you hear people do like, oh my God, I do this. You're like, oh my gosh, I would love to do that. But then that would be like my 10th other hobby that I don't have time for other 9 for. It's like reading.
True story.
It's like, oh my gosh, I should read more books. It's like, where am I going to fit that in at?
Mm-hmm.
It's got to find the time. But all right, well, as we're closing up, I'm going to find a little extra time here to get ready to play Destiny in September. I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping. Right. Visit our website, we're languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Email us at bros@languageofbromance.com. Like us on Facebook. Remember, we are part of the Pod Bros Network.
It's now the number one gaming podcast site on the internet.
It is.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Pod Bros.
All right. Well, is there anything else before I close her out?
No, we're finished here.
All right. Well, that's all the bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And remember, don't be a why. Be a why.
Be a why not.
I'm Nicole.
And I'm Sarah, and we are the Homance Chronicles.
The Homance Chronicles is an adult comedy podcast where we laugh like this all of the time at our real life shit. It's what happens, where we talk about everything from dating disasters
to poor choices after drinking entirely way too much.
We always drink too much.
That's a terrible thing.
It leads to awkward encounters.
Both sober and drunk, though.
True.
That's very true.
The Twilight Zone is real. It's the ultimate girl talk where we share everything. Even
everything. Butt stuff.
Yeah, all the stuff. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. Just search the Homance Chronicles. And if you haven't figured it out, Homance is the girl version of a bromance. So get ready to giggle along. Tell me that you recorded it.
Homance out!